Hello and welcome to this Game Pit Stop for Brass Birmingham, designed by Matt Tolman, Martin Wallace and Gavan Brown, and published by Roxley Games. Now for this pit stop, I'm going to be telling you the differences between Brass Birmingham and the original Brass Lancashire. If you want an overview of Brass Lancashire, just have a look in the description below and there'll be a link to it there. So the differences in Brass Birmingham. To start with, you do start with 17 money, so obviously things are tighter from the get-go. And speaking of money, when you take a loan, you must take 30 with the equivalent income hit. There's no options for 10 or 20 in this one. Also at the very beginning, there are spaces left in the coal and iron market, and the first coal mine that is linked to any of these outside merchant spaces, they're immediately going to sell back to the coal market and get the money. And the same with the iron, although obviously that can be built anywhere, same as iron in the base game, and it will just move by wagon. And you're going to make money and instantly clear, so there's an incentive for building those early. Now on your own board here, you notice there's two things missing. There are no ports and there are no ships. They're not in this game, but what you have got instead are manufacturing and breweries and potteries. So we're going to talk about breweries. When you build a brewery, it's most similar to the iron and the coal. It's a resource that goes on the board. When you pop it on there, you're going to put one beer on there for if you're in the canal era and two if you're in the railway era. And those are going to flip when you've got rid of all the beer that's on the brewery. Now to do that, you're going to do it when you're selling mostly, or possibly when building rail links. In order to spend beer, it's kind of a halfway house between coal and iron. If you want to use beer from your own breweries, you don't have to be connected to it. You can get it there by wagon. If you want to use beer from someone else's breweries, then you must be connected, whatever location you're using it at, to theirs by a link. You can see there's some beer that starts off on the board, and that's the third way in which you can get beer. And now these are the merchants. Now there's no ports, as we said. So in order, if you want to sell things outside and to flip over your manufacturing and your cotton and your potteries, you're going to have to connect up to these outside areas where the merchants are. Now the merchants are specialized. You come with a random set of tiles that get pulled out. For example, up here in Nottingham, you can only sell from potteries in this game, but that might be completely different next time round. Down here in Oxford, they're willing to take manufactured goods and cotton and so on. The first person to sell one of these goods to this merchant is going to be able to use the beer for that sale. And if you look on here, it can be very hard for you to see, but in order to flip over the manufacturing, apart from a couple of them, you must use beer, and for the cotton the same, and for the pottery. So you need beer, but it can come from the merchant you're going to. And in fact, if you're the first person to sell in each era, these reset at the end of the canal era, you're going to get a little bonus for using that beer. For example, here in Oxford, your income's going to go up more. In Gloucester, you're going to get free development. Shrewsbury and Nottingham, you're going to get some points, and up at Warrington, you're going to earn some extra money as a one-off. The other way in which you can use beer is that, again, hard to see, but on a double rail link action now, as well as using 2 coal on the 15 money, you also must use a beer to do that. If it's someone else's, it must be connected to the second link you're placing down. And again, as I said, when the beer comes off, these are going to flip over, and they act in that way like the coal mines and the iron ore processes. There's a couple of other little differences on your board itself. There are a couple of tiles you cannot build in the canal era. Now it's unlikely that you would get to them, like the very top pottery and the very top brewery, but you can't do that. But also the potteries is a slightly odd track in that the very first one costs you 17 money and an iron, and it will go away at the end of the canal era. But it scores you 10 points, it gives you a big boost in income, and it can't be developed away. You must build it if you want to get to the second one, which is free, but gives you a very small boost. And again, you can't develop away the third one. It costs 22 money, but gives you another big boost and scores 11 points. It can't be developed. So that pottery track is a little bit unusual if you're used to playing Brass Lancashire. Now, the last real difference is that there is a brand new action in the game, and that's scouting. Now, for scouting, you're going to throw 3 cards in your hand away for that one action. And as long as you haven't got any wild cards in your hand, you get to take a wild industry card and a wild location card. And what these are, well, they do what they say on the tin. You can use that as any industry card in the game, and you can use that as any location card in the game. And one of the other small little quirks is you're going to need an industry card to build into the brewery locations, because they're called farmhouse breweries, and they're not actually linked to a town or city. There's one of those down there, you must be linked to it, and then you can make more. Those are the main differences between Brass Birmingham and Brass Lancashire. This has been a Game Pit stop. For more videos like this, check out our YouTube channel. And for more in-depth coverage of gaming, please check out the Game Pit podcast. Thank you.